I've always been a traveler, somebody who's sought out new experiences. So this year, when I heard about Land Rover's win a trip to space with Virgin Galactic, I jumped at the opportunity. Of course, it required that I create a 30-second video about what adventure meant to me. I immediately thought back to my students and created the following video. Adventure to me has always been about learning, about exploring the world and life around me. It's about traveling different countries, South America, Asia, Europe. It's about meeting people, getting married, finding the one you love, continuing to have as many possible experiences as you can. The learning through adventure now comes to my students. My goal is to inspire them by being as adventurous as possible, going to space so they can realize that anything is possible.
Send Mr. Burger to space! Woohoo!
Though Land Rover didn't choose me to win the grand prize of a trip to space due to the crash of their test flight, I did win the national prize, a trip to Iceland for me and 3 friends. My scholars were thrilled, and I brought back books on Vikings, mythology, and Icelandic history to satiate their hunger for new knowledge. The experience helped them realize that anything was truly possible, and I shared with them my excitement about all that I saw and learned. When the very act of learning information is in and of itself an adventure, then students develop what we call intrinsic motivation. The joy of discovering new information and working hard to succeed needs to be the primary lesson that students take away from school, and my classroom in particular. It is this mindset that will enable them to be successful in any pursuit, as well as develop the intrinsic motivation to continue their studies. I believe that the best way to cultivate this mindset in students is by modeling it myself and actually expecting it of them. This passion manifests itself in many ways. It might mean dressing myself up as Paul Revere during a historical comparison unit on Longfellow and having kids dress up to read his poem.
Paul Revere's Ride, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere. On the 18th of April in 75, hardly a man is now alive who remembers that famous day and year. He said to his friend, "If the British march by land or sea from the town tonight, hang a lantern aloft in the belfry arch of the northern church tower as a signal light. One if by land and two if by sea."
It means showing my love of reading by playing the sinister heartbeat while reading Poe's Telltale Heart, or sharing a love of books and physical text by having students create quartos, chapbooks which they design and in which they will publish their own poems. It means narrating and praising growth and the fixing of mistakes instead of raw achievement.
Started.
Zombie on the track.
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team here. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
My job as an educator is to convince students that learning is not only something that you do in school, but that experience is an education, and scholars need to be open to those new experiences. Essential to adventure is the element of risk and failure. Understand that making mistakes is actually the best way to learn. Those who make mistakes and fix them improve and grow, while those that do not reflect and learn make the same mistakes over and over again and then stagnate. Theodore Roosevelt said that nothing in the world is worth having or doing unless it means effort, pain, and difficulty. I have never in my life envied a human being who led an easy life. I have envied a great many people who led difficult lives and led them well. To me, this quote sort of says it all. When students realize that life is going to be a challenge, but that embracing the challenge and becoming a better person because of it is what makes life worth living, then I know that they will be set up for whatever they face. It's about having an authentic experience. When the challenge becomes exciting, when the journey is important and not the destination, students will truly become scholars who embrace their studies, not in the pursuit of a degree or an end goal per se, but for the inherent value of their increased knowledge and the thrill of discovery and exploration of the self and of the world around them. Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." What he meant by this was that the unexamined life was boring, so why would one want to live it? We all seek not to be bored, and the never-ending pool of knowledge offers depths to be explored for one's entire life, making for true adventure that makes life truly worth living. The most salient point I've taken away from my experience at Johns Hopkins is that my learning will never be finished. I yearn for new knowledge and new experiences. I learn from my scholars and they push me to grow. The least I can do is push them in their growth as well, inspiring where I can, encouraging where I must, and always ensuring that they appreciate the adventure of their education.